Well, hi everyone and welcome. We're so happy that you're joining us today. Are you ready for today's daily word of encouragement? Now listen, have you ever had someone or something stop by unexpectedly? I know you have. Everybody has. We had that experience a few years ago. And babe, why don't you tell the story?
Okay, so it's sort of a funny story. It's sort of a disastrous story. We were getting ready to go to church on a Sunday morning, and I went out to our van to get in the van. And when I opened the door, the van was a shambles. The ceiling had been ripped out.
Everything. There
was holes in the leather seats. Their maps had been pulled out and shredded around the whole van. There was food. It was a disaster. It was awful. And I was shocked, and I shut the door and walked back to the back door, and I called in to Bill, and I said, "Babe, somebody has vandalized our van." So he came out, and we walked together to the van. We stood there side by side, looking in the door of the van, looking at this total disaster. I mean, we were so shocked. We probably looked hilarious with this stunned look on our faces.
Yes.
And then Bill whispered, he said, "Babe." And I said, "What?" And he pointed, and in the back, sitting in my wheelchair, was a raccoon peeking up over the back of the wheelchair. That raccoon had snuck into our van the night before when Bill and our boys were emptying the groceries out of the back of the car. He smelled the food. When they weren't looking, he snuck up and he hid right there in the back of the van. And they shut the van, they locked the doors, and through the course of the night, he tore the van to shreds. I think maybe the funniest part was Bill said, last night all through the evening, he kept hearing the horn honk. And he would go and he would open up the door and look out in the garage and couldn't see anything. But the raccoon had done a tremendous amount of damage. And the fact of the matter is that sometimes sin is a little bit like that.
Yeah.
When we don't realize it, we've left an opening, like we've left the back door open, and sin is crouching and waiting to slip on in and cause us to stumble.
Yes, and the biblical application that we found that we can learn about is from the story of Cain and Abel in Genesis 4. Now, as you'll recall, that Cain was jealous that God accepted Abel's sacrifice, but not his own. Not only was he jealous, but that made him angry and resentful. You know those feelings, huh? But God spoke to him in Genesis 4:7, and let me read that. And God said to Cain, "If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must master it." Wow.
So God gave Cain the proper path to follow. He's saying, "Cain, look, be careful. Your attitude, your perspective, it's all skewed, and you're looking at it from the wrong angle. You need to do what is right."
Amen.
And that's the message that he speaks to my life too, is that if I want to live the godly life that I aspire to, I need to make sure that the choices I make line up with what is right in God's sight. Now, if we're right, it talks about what is good, what is excellent, what is beautiful. Cain made the wrong choice. And just like the consequences of the raccoon in our car were severe, so were the consequences that Cain experienced.
Yes, and in our own life too. Sometimes when we do those things that we know are wrong, but we do them anyway, we do suffer consequences, even if sometimes they're not external and visible to others. It affects our hearts. It does. It affects our hearts. And when that raccoon slipped into our car, he caused so much damage, and that's what sin does in our lives if we allow the enemy to come in and whisper to us, oh, it'll be okay. Well, it won't be okay. It really won't. It'll cause a great deal of damage. So, what we need to do is shut that door. When sin starts lurking about, we just shut that door.
Today we wanted to encourage you that with the help of the Lord,
Yeah.
you really can, and we really can,
Yes, absolutely.
make those choices that will honor Him in our lives. And we want to challenge you to think about some steps that you can take today that will guard your heart and help you respond to the challenges in your life in God-honoring ways.
God-honoring ways, yes. Well, thanks for joining us again today. And we pray that this message was an encouragement to you. And we hope that it challenged you as well. Yeah. So you all have a blessed day, though.
God bless.
God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.